I was so impressed with how they came back today. I've been saying it about 3 or 4 weeks in a row, but not only would say our best Monday ever by far, it's probably our best overall practice of the year. So I told the guys after practice says a lot about who they are to respond that way.
Scott, Sean probably stole my thunder because I was going to ask you how much of a concern is it to you, the mental aspect of it now after guys are 0-6 and kind of have a loss like they did?
Yeah, I was worried about it on Sunday and this morning before they got here, and I was shocked at how for the last 3 weeks, sometimes I wish people could see inside the walls and see how good the culture is right now and how much it's turned and how much better it is and how much the guys are banding together. The one concern I have, as great as it was today, it was our best practice ever. One concern I have is I don't want the guys to get used to losing and be okay with it. And I know the vast majority of our team isn't, but I don't want them to get comfortable with it either. So that's the one concern I have, but that's far outweighed by how the guys came back to work today with an attitude and a smile on their face and went to work.
Scott, who are guys you've seen on film that are making the winning plays, even if the results overall haven't been?
Oh, there's a bunch of guys. The challenge last week was make the 1 or 2 plays you haven't ever made before that are going to put us over the top, and there was a bunch of those plays. I watch offense more than defense, but Adrian did some good things. JD keeps stepping up. Divine's running like a champ. Maurice is starting to become what we know he's going to be. Stanley fights every game. Jack Stoll's getting better. The other 2 tight ends are getting better. Jaime gets better every week. Farniok's playing his butt off. Bo Wilson coming in has given us a spark. The other 2 linemen have improved every week. So offensively, we left a lot on the table. If you look at that game, we left a lot on the table of stuff that was there that we didn't take advantage of, and a little mistake here and there, and that's been kind of consistent, but it's getting better. And there's a lot of guys making plays. We came up one play short.
Scott, I wanted to follow up on what you said about making sure that you guys don't get used to losing and be okay with it. Is that something that, as a coach, you can see happening with your guys, or is that something that you don't have a clue if they become used to it?
Well, human nature. The one thing I told them this morning, we have a team meeting every Monday morning, and I told them I'm so glad I'm their coach that I hope they can recognize how much improvement they've made and how far they've come, not just on the field, but everywhere. But the one question I had is that you get in a situation like that where you're up 10 with 4 minutes or up 7 with a minute whatever left and 99 yards to go, or even up 7 at the beginning of the game. And at that point, you have to finish it. You have to play right then to end it right then. And when you get up 14 with 4 minutes left, or 7 or 10 or 14, 7, we preach play with the desire to excel and no fear of failure. And I didn't ask anybody to answer, but kind of wanted them to think about at that point, were you thinking about, I'm going to go finish this, or were you kind of in the back of your mind thinking, oh no, here we go again? I'm sure there were some guys like that, and even if it wasn't the majority of what they were thinking, it was probably in the back of their head, and naturally so. They haven't won in a while, but we need to get over that hurdle as a group. And if you expect to win and count on winning, and you know you're going to win, as coaches and players, we need to find a way to win that one.
Scott, Minnesota played Ohio State pretty tough. What sticks out to you about them from what you've seen?
I've watched their defense. I haven't had a chance to look at offense yet. Defense plays really hard. They fly around to the ball. They run and hit. Very similar to the team we just played. Not schematically, but similar to Wisconsin from that standpoint. These guys, it's funny, I didn't know much about this league, but on our half, there's not a ton of difference between the teams that we've seen in our half so far. They're all good teams, and they're all games we can win if we play really well, and teams that'll beat us if we don't play well.
What else have you learned about the league since you've returned? It's just been 4 games. I know it's not a lot, but
What do you think marks this league thus far in your tenure?
I think that the level of the league, top to bottom. Some of the other leagues I've been in, there's some really good teams, and then there's some games where you can play less than your best and win. Certainly haven't seen all the teams in this league, but I haven't seen one like that yet. So you need to be at your best week in, week out when you're playing a 9-game schedule in this league, and anybody can beat you. You need to be a cut above to think that you're going to win the majority or all those. And you know, we haven't faced everybody yet, but I've been impressed with the depth of this league.
Scott Adrian said he'd rather learn lessons through winning on Saturday, but are there things from the first 50 minutes of that game, 55 minutes of that game that you can say, hey, look, you did this well enough for most of it and carry it forward?
Yeah, it's funny how the story writes itself based on, in that case, the last 4 minutes or 1 minute and whatever. Because we make one more play and the story is how Nebraska looks different. Did we turn the corner? Instead, the story is epic collapse and worst record ever. And it writes itself based on the result. That's the way it should be. We're in a competitive business. But, I mean, we were one play away at the end of that game in about 20 different plays from having some really good things said and some excitement. And I want the guys to take that out of that. And we certainly have played well enough several times to win games. Haven't cut a lot of breaks, and it just hasn't happened, but it will.
What do you make of your 0-5 going into that game? And, you know, it kind of felt like a home game for you guys. And just the way the fans have kept with us, I guess.
Well, I learned a long time ago when I was here not to pay any attention to what's outside. What's outside is outside noise to the people in this building. All we can do is put our head down and keep getting better. And that's what we've done, and that's what we'll continue to do. What I will say is I haven't come across a fan personally that has said anything negative. Those fans up there in Chicago were incredible. They were supportive before the game. They were supportive, encouraging after the game. That's what Nebraska fans are all about. And I said it, I think, on the radio show afterwards. I can't tell you how appreciative I am of those people that are behind us. I hope a lot of those people see the progress we're making. We had a lot of work to do in the progress we're making. But it isn't where we want to be right now, but just wait and see.
After you look at the film, would you guys have played Nagel differently now that you know what you know and how much damage he did to you guys on Saturday?
No, he's a good player. He beat us. Northwestern beat us, but he had a lot to do with it. I went back and watched the entire defensive game on my own, and then with Coach Shenander again. I think we had him doubled on 25-ish snaps in that game. What's crazy about that game is up until I think 4 minutes gone in the fourth quarter, our defense had given up 7 points. And after that, the bottom fell out. And we got to be able to finish that. But we were in zone coverage, we were in blitzes, we were in man. We doubled him a bunch. We doubled him and lost leverage, and he made a couple plays when we had 2 guys on him. So I don't think it was what we were in on defense. It's just playing it better, and that's on us as coaches and the kids to make sure that they're using the techniques that we've taught them. That's really what happened watching it. Pressing when you're not supposed to press, and him beating you at the line and having the wrong leverage. We got lined up wrong once on a 4th and 10. Little things like that, and that kid was good enough to take advantage of it.
Scott, how much input do you have during the game with the defense, or do you just leave it there?
You know, I'm over on their side of the headset some when I think I need to be, but as a play caller on offense, most of the time that our defense is on the field, I'm talking to the guys on offense about what we want to get to in the next series. Even that last series, I was over there some. If Coach Shenander needs anything from me, do you want to come after him here? Do you want to play off here? He comes and asks me, or asks me on the headset if I'm over. But even on that last drive, you know, I had to be prepared to get us in the best plays that I could for overtime. So that's the way we've done it. It's worked. It will work again. As a head coach, I can't be the head coach and manage the game, calling offense, and be involved in defense. I won't get any sleep. That's just too much, and there's not a coach in the country that does that. I have really good assistants. They've done the job before. They're doing a good job. They're going to get it right.
You just got to get a big sack total in week 1 against Colorado. It hasn't quite maybe looked like that since. What do you need to get to the quarterback?
We need guys to be better at pass rushing. We need to hit blitzes a little crisper. There's a few technique things that aren't quite there, and that's what watching the game with Coach Shenander that I saw more than anything. We didn't have. I said to Sam that we didn't have a lot of busts Saturday, and I do apologize to you because at the end of the game it looked a little like we were tired. I don't think that's a conditioning thing. I think it's maybe a little bit of a lack of depth thing. You know, a couple of our linebackers played 80, 85 snaps in that game. I don't think they were gassed, but they didn't quite look as quick as they did in the first quarter. Some of the technique isn't where we want it. We're not breaking on enough balls in zone coverage. We're not down in a good stance to when the quarterback throws one way to drive on it and get 3 hats to the ball. Maybe our pass rushing technique. And honestly, I don't want to sound like an excuse. That's kind of first-year stuff that you don't get to dial in the basics and the techniques quite as much as you're in a hurry to get everything in. And we're improving big time on offense with our techniques and with some of the basics as we go through it. So is the defense. But some of that stuff's just not quite there. And when the margin's that much, being in exactly the right spot with the exactly right technique makes a difference. And we're going to go back to some of those fundamentals as much as we can afford to as we're trying to get game plans into week-by-week adjustment for other teams.
Scott, being 0-6, you guys need to get 6 wins to get more eligible. Is that carrot really difficult to get probably at this point? Is it just winning a game kind of a thing right now for your guys, or the long-term goal for this season, with that being way out there? I guess kind of how do they kind of approach this second half?
I don't know about the team for sure because I can't look into their minds, but winning a game that's the carrot for me right now. It needs to happen. I said at the beginning of the season, I got asked 100 times, what's a good result this year? What's a good record? How many games do you want to win? And my answer then was the same as it is now. We got to get better day by day. We had a lot to fix, a lot to do, a lot to install. There's no doubt watching the last 3 weeks how much better we've gotten. Really, since that Michigan game, it's really improved day by day and week by week. And it breaks my heart for these guys that it hasn't led to a slash in the win column yet. So we're not going to ever look forward to what bowl game or a bowl game. If we take care of day by day, then I've said it before the season, I'll say it now, we'll end up in good place in the not very distant future. But we can't change that thinking right now. We can't change that message to the players right now. And they're responding. Today's the best practice we've had since I've been at the university.
How do you rep Noah Vetchel now? Does he go up with the 2s and the 3s, and with his situation, you try to get him a couple games to take advantage of the redshirt rule this year?
Yeah, I think Noah could make us better. I wish we'd got that ruling early. On top of everything else, he's the most familiar with our scheme of anybody on campus. We're definitely not going to burn a year with him if we can help it. So, and in fact, we're not. But he's good enough to be on the field for us. So if there's opportunities to get him in for 4 games, I'd love to see that happen for him.
Did you ever get an explanation on why that took 5 games in to get that decision?
Yeah, I got an explanation, and it wasn't the NCAA's fault. I'd rather not comment on it farther than that.
This is a small thing, but on that false start in overtime, Adrian called for the ball. It didn't come. Was it supposed to come, or were you guys trying to draw?
No, the ball was supposed to come, and I didn't know it, and I don't know if it's true or not. Adrian said the music was still playing, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. That's not supposed to happen. Again, I don't even know if that's the case or not. We've had a couple of those at the wrong times this year. We had one in the Colorado game on our last drive where we just didn't snap the ball. Our quarterbacks have to be louder, our centers have to be locked in, and we can't make mistakes like that, particularly late. You know, that's 3rd and 1. We probably got 2 downs to get a half a yard, back it up and get 5 again and have a down to get half a yard, and then we had our first bad snap in a couple weeks. So just, you know, I feel bad for the guys because those things just seem to keep happening to us, particularly at the wrong time. But hey, when the chips are down and when the game's on the line, we need to be at our best, and we haven't exactly done that yet.
Have you been tempted at all to change your plan with Breon Dixon? And is he in line to maybe take advantage of Summerall before games down the stretch here?
Yeah, you know, there's a couple positions where we're getting really thin. Inside linebacker's one of them. Outside, we're still pretty healthy. The minute Ferg gets back to 100%. But it's all hands on deck, and if somebody has four games to play, we're going to do our best to use the personnel as well as we can.
One or two more, if there is.
So you know about P.J. Fleck and just kind of his background as a coach and what he's done in Minnesota now since he's been there?
I don't know a lot about P.J. other than running into him at the coaches' events for the Big Ten, and I know he did a great job where he was before, and judging by what I see on tape, he's doing a really good job where he is.
Scott, defensively, what can you point to maybe that's been part of that unit has shown the most improvement here with this season?
You know, the lack of busts in the game points to guys being dialed in better to what they're supposed to be doing. Now, we still had some things that just make you scratch your head. You know, we gave up too many yards, but I'm spitballing and guessing because I don't know the exact stats, but I bet you 200 of those yards were on 8 plays where we just weren't lined up right, didn't play the technique right, gave up a leverage that we weren't supposed to give up, things like that. And we're going to get it fixed. You know, I don't know if it's guys making stuff up and not doing it the way they're taught, or if, you know, we're going to keep teaching it better and make sure they do it the right way. But, you know, I even went over the stats with Coach Shenander, and I think we had 6 base defensive calls, and they average anywhere, Northwestern averaged anywhere from 0.5 to 3.3 yards per play on those calls. Again, the narrative wrote itself at the end of the game because with 4 minutes gone or whatever in the fourth quarter, Northwestern's offense had scored 7 points. And then some of those mistakes and errors happen, and again, they happened at exactly when they couldn't happen. And those are habits we have to break.
Scott, real quick, have you seen the uniforms you got will wear for the Illinois game? And if so, what are your thoughts?
I have not seen them. I've heard about them. Anything to give us a little mojo right now, I'm all for. So I hope they look good.
Were you able to avoid a serious injury with CJ, or was he never really brings a card out?
No, I don't think it looks real good for CJ. Gosh, it's heartbreaking. He's a guy that we kept bringing along and thinking that he can help us at that position, and he was just standing around a pile, and a guy kind of whiffed on a tackle and rolled into his knee, and I'm not sure if we know for sure yet, but it doesn't look really good for the rest of this year.
How do you like the way Lamar's responded over the last couple of weeks, and the way he's carried himself since what happened against Purdue?
Well, Lamar's, one of the guys that I think has made significant improvement. Still like to see him go make some great plays, but he's doing things the right way now. He's been a good teammate, and he's got enough talent to be a really good player if he keeps on that track. Thanks.
Adrian, what are the challenges of just keeping a positive outlook right now with the 0-6 start?
Obviously, 0-6 is not ideal, but the guys came to work today, and I think it's just what we've established as our MO. I think this coaching staff and the group of guys we have right now, we know nothing different at this point. Show up to work, do your job, and do it 100%.
What plays do you feel like are working the best for your offense right now? Yeah, saying this stuff's actually going pretty well.
Yeah, I think our plays complement each other. When our inside zone stuff like that's working, then our play action pass will work, our drop back, everything works. When we get going, when we use our tempo, and I think you guys have seen that. When we get rolling, I think everything's going. It's hard for a defense to get set up and adjust.
Is there a play in that box you really like, something that you guys kind of have figured out you might do well?
I couldn't point to one thing. On each given play, I could have the option to throw it out. I could have the option to hand it off. It just depends. I have a lot of free reign sometimes to make a certain decision. So it doesn't really matter what the defense is doing. I think it's more about us.
So that's rather than learning lessons through rain, but is there something from now that the immediacy of the velocity pass that you can take from the first 50 or 55 minutes and carry forward to the second half here?
Yeah, of course, there's always a few plays I'd like to have back, like the interception or, a certain pivotal down that could have changed things for us. But for the most part, I thought offensively we were playing pretty well. We obviously got off to a good start. There's always things I'd like to change for sure.
Adrian, what do you guys as players and what do coaches do to, I guess, fight off that idea that people can get used to losing? How do you guys keep that edge?
That's definitely a tough one. I think it's just believing in each other, having confidence, despite our 0-6 start, just falling back on our hard work, knowing that it wasn't for nothing, and that we have the capability to win games and play well.
Is there such thing as getting used to losing?
Probably, yeah, I believe so. I think it's more that thing where you're late in a game and it's tight or whatever, and just believing that we're going to win this because this is what we do, as opposed to maybe getting used to losing, having that feeling of doubt. In my mind, I always believe we're going to win, regardless of who we're playing, what time it is in the game. I don't lose that faith, and I believe a lot of us are the same way.
Adrian, what's the advantage of when it's 4th and 1, being in the shotgun rather than being under the center? Which would you prefer?
We run shotgun, so I prefer shotgun. In my opinion, I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. The running back's kind of at the same depth. There's obviously more of a threat for me to keep the ball as well, so it keeps the defense honest. For me, I don't think there's an advantage one way or the other necessarily, but I know shotgun's the way we do it.
Did it make any difference having Noah on the trip and on the headset and all that through the game for you?
Yeah, I think Noah helps a ton. No disrespect to Matt Masker, of course, but Noah obviously has the experience of UCF. He knows this offense. He's been in lots of games, obviously game action as well. So he definitely provides a different insight, kind of like another coach there. He understands everything that I'm seeing, as well as Bunch. So it just helps having more people to talk through things and kind of give me that feedback.
How'd you hear about it on Friday night that he was eligible?
It was kind of a tough situation. Obviously, they sent Matt back home and they brought Noah on the trip, and it was nice to see him. Kind of odd because we haven't seen him all year at away games. So it was good though. It was good having him on the sideline.
How did Matt respond to that? I mean, a lot of guys, I guess his parents were going after the game, and it's like, hey, I'm heading back now.
Yeah, Matt's a great guy, and he handled it so well. Honestly, we laughed about it, just kind of how crazy a situation it was. If anyone can handle that type of thing, it's going to be Matt. He's such a quality guy, and he handled it with such poise. He wasn't angry about it. He didn't act sad about it. Obviously, it's probably a disappointing situation for him, but he made the most of it and understood ultimately.
Take one more for Adrian. Adrian, this is not to be smart alecky, but did you guys win state championship your junior year?
I did not.
So do you remember the last game that you won as a starter?
It was a playoff game. quarterfinals against Clovis High School, probably in 2017, 2016.
Somebody who said that would have been your last win for two. I mean, you have to think they would be crazy, right? Somebody would say that.
Yeah, I mean, didn't play football my senior year. It definitely has been a while, but I think the winning culture is installed in me. I don't think I've known anything different throughout my life. I want to win. I believe we're going to win, and I'm a competitive guy. I don't think I'm used to losing. I don't think a lot of the people here are either. We want to win, and we're going to do everything that we can to win.
Adrian, what have you seen from Minnesota, what you've studied so far?
They're a tough team, like every other team in the Big Ten. It's not going to be an easy week for us. They kind of run stuff similar to Northwestern, so that's a little bit easier on us offensively. But it's going to be a good matchup for us. I'm excited to get back in front of the home crowd and get our first win, hopefully.
Thank you. Go Divine next, since Mo is here as well. So. All right, questions?
I know you guys lost, but do you feel like that was maybe one of the best performances you've had in Nebraska, the way you got so many yards for contact or able to run on Saturday?
Yeah, I feel like I played a pretty good game. You know, the O-line definitely made it easy on me. They were opening things up very well. So, yeah, you know, you always want to get that win, but it was good to at least have a good game.
Divine, who are some other guys on offense that you can look to and say these guys are making winning plays, even if the overall game results haven't maybe been there?
I would say at points throughout the game, everybody is. You know, like there's, like Adrian just said, like there's times, you know, we're rolling and we can't be stopped. You know, just smooth sailing, O-line's making the right reads, running back straight in the holes, receivers getting open, Adrian's hitting them. So I would say everybody's making plays. You just have to have those on a more consistent basis as a team. And once we get that going, and once we get that, like, you know, like I said, we can't be stopped and things will be smooth.
What do you want to try to get accomplished here down the stretch? Obviously, what's your mindset like with 6 games left in the year?
Yeah, you know, just to go out there, honestly, just beat Minnesota this week. Like that's the biggest thing. That'd be such a good win, especially to do it right here at home. Just finally get that first win, get head in the right direction, and then just continue it. And just you know, like I said, just you know, start the tradition of winning. Like you guys talked about, losing being a habit, and people getting used to losing. Like for me, it's definitely hard. I would never like just sit down and, you know, bend over. And I know a bunch of guys on this team are like that. So just, you know, getting a win under our belt to prove to ourselves, honestly, be like, all right, like, you know, we're still in this. We got 6 games. Let's try to get them all.
How can you cope with that? You know, if you don't get used to losing, how do you react emotionally? What do you do, you know, during these other times?
Honestly, I think you just get hungry. Like, if you keep losing, all right, then this will go get better. And that's how I've been looking at it this week, and looking at throughout the season. You keep losing, do like little things here and there. All right, let's go tighten those little things down. Let's go get better at this. Let's get better at that. And, you know, that'll just make the whole team better, and hopefully you don't get us head in the right direction.
What do you remember about that game last year up at Minnesota?
I remember a good amount. I remember me personally leaving a bunch of plays out there on the field. There's a lot of times where I'd break up into the second level and then, you know, just get tackled by a DB just reaching and slapping my foot or something like that, you know, not being able to lift my knees up. And so, like, that's one thing I definitely want to, you know, I definitely feel like if I can get those same opportunities in the current shape I'm in now, like, I feel like I can do a lot.
Is this team motivated after what happened a year ago up there?
Yeah, especially with them, you know, it's like they kind of ran it up. You know, they scored a bunch of points, and, you know, they didn't hold off, which is what we expected. You know, like, we don't want any team to, you know, go easy on us because, you know, if we get an opportunity, we're going to try to do as best as we can. But now, you know, now we have something to prove because Minnesota's a team that, you know, like, they're a tough team. They work hard. They're in the Big Ten. They're on our side, so we have to go out there and prove that we can beat this team on a regular basis.
I feel like you've done a better job of that this year at the second level than you guys missing
Yeah, I think, just getting the ball and getting a full head of steam when I get there has definitely been a big key help. I guess the O-line's been making holes pretty big, so it's easy for me to get up to my, top speed and be able to make these moves at full speed. It definitely puts stress on the defense that, I haven't had the chances as much as I would like to before. But, the O-line's making things happen for me.
Devon, do you have a favorite alternate uniform you've worn while being here?
Probably last year against Northwestern. The all-white, that was, I especially like how we had a away alternate. That was pretty cool. And all-white's my favorite combination, so it just all worked out.
Have you seen the one that they released for this year?
Yeah, everybody just saw in the locker room. We had one of our guys model it around Mario.
Who modeled it around?
Mario, he helps in the equipment room.
I was not confused.
What was your reaction?
It's cool. I especially like the helmet. I like to do with the decal and make it look like a leather head. That's pretty cool.
Good. All right, thank you, Brian.
No problem.
I was like, wait, is this
Finish up in here with, we may have a couple guys coming still outside, but just do one more player up front here at the podium. We'll have one more. Questions?
Hey Mo, where do you feel like the defense has improved the most in the first half of the season?
Well, our rushing defense was great Saturday. We got 2 turnovers, got 7 tackles for losses, 2 sacks. I think in all areas, I think we improved. Of course, passing defense took a step back, and that's where we are right now.
Is it harder to appreciate that progress when the wins haven't necessarily been?
Oh man, it would have been great. We got this W, and then to say, they only rushed for 32 yards, and all the other stats. You would say dominant. At sometimes we were as a defense, and held them. Even in the first 2 quarters, I felt like they couldn't do nothing besides explosive plays, but they couldn't really move the ball against us. And I think we matched up even well than their previous opponents the first 2 quarters.
Devine was in here earlier, said that Minnesota kind of ran up the score on you guys a year ago. Have you thought about that?
Oh yeah, I'm motivated as heck. I'm ready for this game, and stopping the run, even because that was a big factor. The quarterback run, and just shutting down. Their running back, number 24, had a good game versus Ohio State. I think he had newcomer of the week for the Big Ten, I think. So shutting him down, shutting that run attack down will be vital, and something that I will take pride in doing this week.
When Northwestern made their comeback, was it mostly just them making plays, or was there any sort of maybe doubt entered your guys' mind, like, uh-oh, here we go again, or was it just them doing things?
I think talent-wise, I think we was a better team. I don't think they beat us just man for man. I think we didn't rely on our techniques at the end of the game, and that's what got us beat. And if we relied on our technique and just fell back on our teachings, then we would have won that game easily.
There were a few other guys on the defense maybe you've been encouraged by their play this year, guys making winning plays.
I would say Luke Gifford, of course. He had a great game for us that game. And then Dedrick had a great game. If you talk about, he shut down their best receiver when he was on them. If you go back to the film, he had 5 PBUs that game. The media only got 2, but it was 5. I would say them 2, even that game, I was inspired by their play. I think they worked that game to play their best.
Yes, Mo?
Mo, what do you see from Lamar since after the game? Where's his head at right now?
I think he came out, he was playing real good versus Northwestern. A lot of pass breakups, finishing through the hands of receivers. And I think he has grown. And if you see, he's trying to make that big play still. Could have had an interception, was this close. And I think he took coaching well after, Coach sat him down. I think he didn't dwell on it too long, and I think he's has the right approach, and he's trying to get better and better his game.
Demo, given your guys' record, what do you expect the mood to be like around here on Saturday? It's been a few weeks since you guys played home.
I expect the same thing from our fans. Our fans are great. They love football. They love the game more than anything, and it's just we need to give them a win. And I just hope they rally behind us and just inspire us and turn us up this weekend as well. The defense going to be hyped to shut down Minnesota, and we're just ready. We're ready to give them what they long for, and that's the first win of the season.
Yes or no?
Thank you.
We're going to camp you up, and I'll be your last player up front. You're good. Open the floor for questions for DiCaprio.
DiCaprio, how far has the defense come 6 games into the season?
I think we've shown a lot of signs of improvement. Guys want to get better. We go out to practice every day and work hard. Try not to make the same mistakes from weeks prior to. And I just think as a defense, we're actually beginning to trust each other and just do our jobs, and it's coming together nicely.
Mo was saying the last 4 minutes when Northwestern got back into it, was just a lot of technique stuff that went bad. I mean, do you feel like it was just mostly bust and technique, or do you feel like it was more just them making plays, how they got back into it, or your thoughts on that?
We knew we were going to have to go back out there, probably one more time or two more times. But however many times we had to go back out there, we were ready for it. I think, it just came down to really, like Mo said, technical errors, a couple of breakdowns. Myself had a couple of mental errors. They didn't really cost us like that. Some of my mental errors, but some of them did. So. Just everybody just taking accountability for the breakdowns in the last 4 minutes of the game, and we'll get better from there.
After being on the road 3 out of the last 4 weekends, how excited are the guys to be home now for 2 straight games in a row here?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a different feel at home. Having the crowd behind you, just familiar territory, feeling comfortable in the environment, going to sleep in a hotel, knowing that you're going to come back out in front of all the fans. That's definitely a good feeling. So, we're ready for these next 2 home games.
How does the way that players respond to tough times this year, how does that compare to last year? Is that pretty similar?
No, it's not similar. I think last year a lot of the times when the going got tough, we quit and we laid down and we just let it, we just let bad things happen. And bad things happen this year. I see a lot of fighters. I see a lot of people trying to fight back. Not trying to take no for an answer, and just trying to keep things close, trying to win football games. Really, last year when things went bad, we weren't trying to win football games. We were just trying to get through the quarters. This year things are going bad, and we still fighting. Down by however many. We're still fighting.
Who are some of those fighters that come to mind?
I'm sorry?
Who are some of those fighters that you're talking about?
Just about everybody else that's on the field at the time. We got guys on the bench. Rallying behind us, giving us support. You can hear it from the sideline. Guys telling you, "Let's go." Those guys are bought in. The guys on the field, they're going out there, and they know it's something on the line every play. So they try to try to make something happen too.
Last year, Minnesota rolled up 55 points on you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah, they just thinking about what Minnesota did last year. Their game plan against us last year, and just thinking about all the things that went wrong in that game. Really just had me thinking that that loss left a really bitter taste in our mouth. We didn't expect them to put up that many points on us at all last year. So we definitely keep that in our mind.
Divine said they ran it up on us, and he's pretty motivated. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, anybody that was in that game last year should feel the same way. They did run it up on us, and it felt like they weren't going to stop last year. So, if we get that opportunity, and we got them where we want them, this time we just got to keep our foot on their necks, and just crush their spirit if we get up like that. And if we're in a dogfight, then we just got to keep fighting until the clock hits 0-0.
They also play a true freshman quarterback for you guys. What have you seen from him?
No, I've watched him. Yeah, he's a true freshman. He's trying to work the middle of the field, stuff like that. Not afraid to throw the ball anywhere. So he'll be a good player for them in years to come. But this year we're trying to disrupt him. Obviously, trying to get him out of his game, and just go from there.
Trey had a pick last week instead of Antonio. Is it going to be your time?
So.
Did they talk to you about that? About the you get your opportunity to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like today I came out and I'm just working different parts of my game. Parts that I felt like I had been working on for a while, but now more than ever I got to work it even harder. So before practice, during practice, after practice, I was just working different phases of my game. And yeah, I mean, I'm long overdue for that play, and I need to make it happen.
Anything else for DiCaprio?
DiCaprio Saturday, it felt like at times it was a home environment for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What does that feel like to look in the stands and see all that red, given you guys haven't had the season that you wanted to have?
Yeah, I mean that was great to see all the red out there. Even though it hasn't been a great season so far. At times it did feel like we were back here at Memorial Stadium. It just seemed like every time we made a big play, they got really loud, and it was disrupting them in their own home environment. So that says a lot about our fans, and I'm happy that they all came out like that.